Over the last few years, the title of the NBA's most underrated player has had a clear owner. For a while, you had the majority of the basketball world agree that Mike Conley was the most underrated player. Then there was CJ McCollum. You even have others suggesting Jalen Suggs, Alex Caruso, and Malcolm Brogdon. But in my opinion, all these players pale in comparison when it comes to the public perception of one player. Despite making 5 All-Star teams and an NBA Finals, most fans view him as an underperformer who lacks the ability to step up in big games. In the 2023-24 season, this player averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. He's also underrated on the defensive end. In case you haven't figured it out, the player I'm referring to is Jason Tatum, and this is why he is underrated. But before explaining why he is underrated, I need to answer another question. How do I know that he's underrated? Well, take a look at articles that rank current day NBA players. In their 2024 ranking, CBS Sports has him ranked at 10. If you are wondering who they ranked above him, they are Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Shea, Doncic, KD, Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell, and Devin Booker. I don't think I'm making headlines by saying that Tatum is better than Durant, Kawhi, Mitchell, and Booker. Throw in Steph Curry and that would make him 7. Outside of these lists, JT does not get any respect when it comes to the MVP voting. Over the last 3 years, Tatum has been the catalyst for the Boston Celtics, arguably the best team in basketball. During that stretch, the Celtics had gone 172-74 in the regular season, placing them comfortably in first. Despite all the regular season success, Tatum's highest MVP finish is 4th. But why? The answer is really simple. He isn't required to take over games in order to win. When comparing Tatum's numbers with other superstars this season, it's hard not to notice that they have better counting stats than him. However, that is a product of Tatum playing on a deep roster loaded with a lot of guys who can score the basketball. In fact, his 2 next best scoring teammates, Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis, have seen their scoring numbers decline from the previous season. Playing winning basketball on a loaded roster requires sacrifice of individual statistics. When Durant joined the Warriors in 2016, both him and Curry saw a decline in scoring. This is because they were no longer required to carry the same offensive burden as they previously needed to. So far, in these 2024 playoffs, Tatum is receiving a lot of criticism for not performing like a superstar. Sure, Tatum has struggled, but he's still averaging 26 a game. Currently, Tatum does not need to average high scoring numbers in order for the Celtics to win. This leads them to have more pedestrian stats. Even then, he would be much more respected across the NBA circle with the ring. For a few years now, the Celtics have been contenders making a deep postseason run. Because of their postseason success, they have been held to an even higher standard. A Larry O'Brien. Tatum's inability to lead the Boston Celtics to a title despite 4 conference finals appearances has paved the way for a narrative. A narrative that Tatum isn't clutch. He doesn't have that it factor, that Mamba mentality, if you will. It doesn't help that Tatum's losses in these playoffs have led to some very iconic moments. The Adebayo block in Game 1, the Curry 4-ring celebration, and Butler's timeout celebration. Tatum just has many of these moments where he does not perform up to his standard in the playoffs that fans just remember. Look back on that CBS Sports list that we went over earlier in this video. Some of the guys ahead of him, what do they have in common? For the most part, they are all believed to be excellent performers in the playoffs. Even though Kawhi has had a reputation for not being able to stay healthy, he did have that run with the Raptors back in 2019. In spite of all his critics, Durant has 2 titles. In his days with the Jazz, Mitchell was known for big playoff performances. Even though he has a reputation for melting down in closeout games, Booker still plays great the rest of the playoffs. Compare them to Tatum, who doesn't have the best postseason narrative, it starts to make sense why they are ranked above him. No, that does not make any sense at all. Currently, Tatum is the best player out of all of them, and over the last 4 years, he is the one who has experienced the most postseason success. The reason he has a negative narrative around him is just because he has higher expectations to win the title. When he falls short, he receives extreme scrutiny. Moreover, the narrative that Tatum cannot play in crucial games is just simply false. I mean, just look at some of these performances. Anyways, who do you think the most underrated player in the NBA is? Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.